Coming to you hot from the observation deck of the Airwreck Radio Sports Plan. This is SportsWreck! I was letting it run long this time. I wanted to let it jam out. I like our intro music.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it myself.
Yeah, this is a podcast that I'm doing. Who are you? And where are we?
I'm Coach Buck.
Coach Buck, expert analyst.
Cory.
I am Cory from Airwreck Radio, and this is SportsWreck.
Because we can do one thing well, and that's wreck.
And that's talk. I had lots and lots and lots of words. I was just spouting all sorts of words before we started this, but now that the microphone's on,
Wait,
I got nothing.
you stage fright?
Suddenly, I don't know what that's about.
Or second thoughts about venting on the air.
No, second thoughts about doing a podcast with you.
Oh.
How's that sound?
Wow, man.
Fuckface.
Now I feel bad.
You should.
I'm going to leave you in the lurch.
Well, yeah. That's the problem with me not having any words, and I can't expect you to come to my rescue.
No, actually, man, I wanted to ask you.
What's up?
When you were a kid, there was obviously a generation gap between you and me. Not that our listeners can tell, but anyway, when I grew up, it was pretty much, in the summertime, you were out the door when you got up, you showed up for lunch, and you were back out the door. Mm-hmm. In my neighborhood, you were in the woods playing, or you were at the ball field playing ball.
Okay.
Basketball court, whatever. You were always outside doing something. And I know my son, who's closer to your age, I know he didn't have that kind of thing unless it was organized.
No, they invented cable television, and then our mothers never let us out the house anymore.
I don't know. We had cable television. Well, most of the neighborhood had cable television when I was a kid, and we still were outside playing all the time. I don't know. Different era.
It wasn't until the 80s that the you know what? I wasn't expecting this. This is a different show. I wasn't expecting this kind of conversation. Because I know this wasn't where you're going with it, but this is where it is. I say the invention of cable television. You might have had cable television, but you didn't have the cable television I had. Your cable television was a fucking joke. It was a series of networks via a cable. Real cable television with 24-hour news networks that you have to fill with time. You have hour blocks of entire shows that you have to fill with shit. So every time there's a news story, you dwell on it for 3 days because you have to fill up time. So every time there was a child abduction when I was a kid, it was a major national friggin' story. Huge. And now some kid got kidnapped in Washington State, and now me in Rochester, better keep an eye on the kids. Because it was in your living room 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because there's so much news, and that really created a scare era around my generation. But and it continues to this day.
We digress, though.
No, because now you got me started. Fuck
there's
you.
There's really not that much news. It's just that there's more access to the news that's out there. So where normally,
what I literally just said is it's the same news that there's always been, but now they talk about it for 3 days instead of 30 seconds.
Well, the thing is, in the old days,
you only had an hour-long news program,
right? And
you had it was 30 seconds to report
stuff to your region and national. Period.
And you might have got a 30-second blip about the kid down the street. Yeah.
Now there is no pertinent stuff because the pertinent stuff they don't want to tell you about, or they're going to spin it so it looks like they're not doing what they're doing.
Same news there's always been. They just have to talk about it for 3 days now to fill fucking time.
Right. But it's because you expose yourself to it by watching their dumb dim bulb stations.
Because it's cable. It's cable. You don't even if you don't watch it, they'll still be there.
Yeah, but
Not even their advertising really matters.
No, but you don't have to watch it. That's the thing.
Exactly, because ratings are virtually impossible to count accurately, anyways. So they just based on the fact, like sponsors go to you because you are a network. It's hard to prove exactly how many people. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And we all know it's all because the almighty Buck rolls out. You know, that doesn't.
All right, go on with your story. Why did you were going on with the "we never went outside" thing?
Yeah.
It did have a lot to do with video games.
That was not my point. We digress. My point was, when I was a kid, it was, you played baseball, you played football, you threw the frisbee, you played street hockey, you played basketball, or some form of all this. That was your recreation, and my son grew up and he didn't play any sport unless it was organized, unless he was signed up for Little League or signed up for
same for me. It was
for
organized.
lacrosse at school, whatever. I mean,
my buddies and I didn't play sports.
I mean, when he was young, up until maybe he was 10, him and the kids on the street, they'd get together in the backyard and screw around playing football or baseball, hitting the ball around or whatever. But, in the years of, preteens and high school, that was already gone, man.
Well, I was a dork. So a lot of time that I spent was playing wrestling with my little buddies in the backyard.
Yeah, I knew people like that too.
You know what I mean?
I had this one kid.
We were trying to friggin' break bones in the backyard.
This one kid in grammar school, this kid Mark, he comes up to me one day and he goes, "Bill, I want you to bend over like this, and I'm going to run at you, and when I jump on your back, I want you to stand up, and it'll throw me." And I'm like, what? I'm like, and I'm like, at first I thought he was going to kick me in the head or something. I didn't know what he was trying to figure out what to do. But he did it, and when I stood up straight, when he landed on my back and stood up straight, he flipped probably 8 feet in the air and landed on his back. When he landed on his back, he just started laughing like it was the best thing in the world. This kid was weird. But anyway, my point was, when we were kids and we were playing baseball or whatever, everyone was sitting there, you're playing, even if you're just throwing hoops in the driveway. I'm Michael Jordan, blah, 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 hook, whatever. You have your dreams, right?
Yeah, buddy.
So obviously, you and me did not succeed in with our sports dreams.
No.
Yeah. Well, for whatever reason.
I like the sport that I went into organized is the one sport that you can't succeed at.
Which would be
amateur wrestling. The best you can be as an Olympian. You can never be a professional. There is, real wrestler. There isn't one. It doesn't exist. Not that I was good enough to even be an Olympian or anything.
Yeah, but you might be good enough to be on Midnight Raw. You never know.
I kind of sucked. A lot of that was lack of discipline.
Of course.
I just didn't have the discipline to do it then. And that's what you need. That is the one thing you need in amateur wrestling more than anything else is discipline.
That's why neither one of us are athletes.
Yes.
But anyway, we might have had dreams when we were kids, and if we not, and through your life, how close have you been to
a penis? Right now I'm about 4 feet away from one.
You stay 4 feet away from one.
I'm gonna start throwing things at you now.
Okay. No, but have you touched greatness? And what I mean by that is, have you met your sports figure, a star, or had an experience?
Easy answer. No.
None?
None.
None?
No. I've never had a sports star that I fanboyed over.
Well, not necessarily
on my team. My team.
It doesn't have to be that. It can just be a sports star that you happen to bump into. I call it a touch of greatness. You know,
I get what you're saying. Brush with greatness.
You brush with greatness. You never met
Kelly,
athlete.
never met Thurman, never met Bruce.
Really?
Never met the Jews. I went to training camp once, and I had little interest in meeting the players.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I was young.
Yeah, like pre-10.
No, I was a teenager, but I didn't have the patience.
Oh. Yeah.
And again, I never had that thing for athletes. That fanboy thing for athletes. I never
had the feeling.
But again, I had it for other entertainment venues.
Right.
And I still don't have a story for you.
No.
I still don't have. I still wouldn't have a time that I met a star. I've never met a celebrity outside of Brother Weeze.
Wow.
I think that Brother Weeze might be the biggest celebrity I've ever met.
Jeez.
Which is pretty sick.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Nothing against Weeze. I'm just saying
I'm actually surprised because usually.
Does Vinny Paulino?
Someone has got a story where I was in an elevator and so.
Vinny Paulino was on TV today.
There you go.
I know Vinny.
He's a local celebrity. Vinny he does the podcasting.
He rocpodcast.com.
Yeah,
he is the leader of that little group that Air Rec Radio is on.
And is he judging or is he?
He's the host MC.
But he's also in the competition.
No. He's an established comic. He gets paid to do his gig.
Oh, okay.
He already gets he gets paid money. The competition's for open mic nighters.
Oh, okay, got it.
You mean you're playing for prizes because there is no pay.
Right.
Like they each week.
In case no one knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, thank you for filling in. 911 Brooks Road, the Joke Factory inside the Holiday Inn, run by Artie Fletcher, who's a legendary comedian. Every Thursday night has an open mic night contest. To which you can enter. If you win the night, you win $50 gift card to something or other, and then you are a finalist in the Grand Champions competition,
right? Playoffs
kind of thing, which are going on right now, actually.
And your buddy Vinny's the host.
Yeah, MC host. Yeah,
nice. But that's a brush with celebrity anyway. It's nice. He's not a sports celebrity.
Yeah, but Weeze is bigger than he is.
No, I hear you got to take him shopping for a tie too, but there's something else. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I got no real. I'm trying to rack my brain here, and I don't think I've ever. I mean,
not even local, baseball, Rochester Red Wings.
I wouldn't recognize a Red Wing if he fucking was wearing his uniform.
Wow. Okay. Well, I was hoping you would have had something here, but
I bet you I have seen Red Wings before in my laundromat.
Yeah,
I bet you I've seen Red Wings before in my laundromat, but if they don't tell me, how the hell would I would have no idea.
Right.
I'd have no clue.
Well, anyway, my sports touch of brush with greatness actually happened inadvertently. Years back, a friend of mine ended up moving out to Tucson. And me and a buddy went out and spent a week and a half out there with him. And we happened to get there in March, in the middle of March Madness going on at the U of A, which is, college basketball's heyday. And his father, my buddy's father, was working at
what does the fox say?
At the El Toros baseball stadium, which was home of the Colorado Rockies spring training. He got me in to see 5 games that week, one a day. I saw 4 different teams play: the Rockies, the Cubs, a couple others. And anyway, one day we show up to the park and the place is pretty much empty because it was a 2-day stand, and the crowd saw the team the first day and they didn't want to see them again the second day. It's only spring training. Me and John are walking into the stadium, and we're drinking $5 Mai Tais in 20-ounce cups. They sell Mai Tais at the stadium.
Nice.
Hello.
Now that's a way to strap one on, baby.
I left Rochester. It was 30 degrees, and there was 2 feet of snow on the ground. I'm in Tucson, Arizona.
Drinking Mai Tais.
The end of March, drinking Mai Tais in 83-degree weather. And as I'm walking into the stadium, realizing that most of it's empty, I look at John and I go, I guess we get our choice of seats today. So we start walking down to the box seats in front of first base.
That's one thing I do like about baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Is if the stadium's empty, you could just upgrade.
Yep. And we start walking down to the back seats, and out in right field, warming up, is Tony Gwynn. And we're literally the only 2 people in this section of the stadium. And he comes running.
Hey, Tony!
Yeah, he comes running over towards the side there, towards the foul line to get a ball that went that way. And now he's like 12 feet from us. And so John yells out, "Hey, Tony, how you doing?" He's like, "Oh, man, what are you guys drinking?" And he's sitting there busting our balls for drinking Mai Tais while he's out there working, quote unquote.
Call this a job?
You know,
I have a job.
Yeah. And I was like, this is kind of surreal. I'm not even really a baseball fan, but everybody knows who Tony Gwynn is at the time, you know. And I'm like, wow, you know, Tony Gwynn's busting my chops about drinking Mai Tais.
That's pretty. I figured you had a Jets story.
No. So then, I don't remember who he was coach or managing for at the time, but Jim Leland was there for one of the games, and I got him to autograph a baseball for my son. Now, Jim Leland, in case you don't know, is the Detroit Tigers manager. The Detroit Tigers manager that is in the playoff race here for the World Series.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So them are in one trip. I had 2 touches with greatness from baseball world, and I hate to say it, but I knew who these guys were because of who they were in their sport, but not because I followed the sport. You know what I mean? So that was my touch.
They were names that you recognized.
Yeah. And it was pretty interesting. Now that you bring it up, I'm kind of jealous. So I got to meet a celebrity.
I mean, Beth might count, but
Beth Donahue counts. She's a local comedian
and radio jock.
She's not doing too much right now, though.
No, she does a stand-up gig on the side on the quiet once in a while, but she's got a day job and she's married to her husband. She says she's too happy to do comedy. You have to be a miserable prick to do comedy.
She's right.
She enjoys life too much.
She's right, and I'm glad she's got a good life.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason to not do comedy anymore, and it's because you're too happy to continue, not because you failed. That's a good reason. You know what I mean?
Really? Why do you think Dennis Leary's doing them stupid truck commercials?
Yeah. Well, it's like George Carlin. No matter how much money or fame he had, he was never going to be happy.
Well, that's because he had issues with government.
He had issues with every aspect of human life.
Because people are stupid.
He despised human life.
I think that's going too strong. I actually think he loved it.
No, you're right. Despised or love would be 2 strong words. He was completely apathetic. Could care less about anything or anyone else but himself and his direct.
I think it bothered him horrendously, and that's where he got most of his good material, to be honest with you.
You know what you should ask that Tony Gwynn? Should ask him what the fox says.
What the fox says?
Yes, you should have asked him what the fox
says. Crow and the elephant go toot, ducks and quack and fish go blub, and the seal goes ow, ow, ow. But there's no sound that no one knows. What does the fox say?
What the hell is that?
It's getting a little old now. It's been around on the internet for, I don't know, probably about a month or so, maybe 2. But now it's starting to really pick up some steam. They are a couple of radio hosts out of Sweden, I believe.
Really?
I might be wrong, but, over there.
Uh-huh.
And they just made a silly video with silly things that say it's just
It was
fun.
catchy. I liked it.
Yeah, it's got a catchy beat, and it's just fun stuff. But it's kind of becoming the internet craze right now. And I've had "What does the fox say?" stuck in my head all day today.
There you go. That was
Suddenly you're standing still. Your fur is red, so beautiful, like an angel in disguise. But if you meet a friendly host, will you communicate by Morse? How will you speak to that horse? What does the fox say?
I have no clue what he's saying, but I'm liking it. It reminds me of the Chinese or Japanese group that Quentin Tarantino turned me on to one time. Not personally, but it was something he recommended.
Yeah. The great thing about this is that the fox's noises just change completely. Like every time he does it, it's just
I know.
a weird, different, strange noise.
I know. That's what I was liking about it. I was waiting for the fox part, you know?
What does a fox say?
And you
Ding,
just-
ding, 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 ding,
Yeah,
ding.
you're just waiting to see what he's going to do next. I'm like, that's the fun part of the song.
I've been dying to play that for you, actually, and I've
oh
just
my
been
God.
waiting for a reason to
You know-
shoehorn it into the conversation.
It's too bad we didn't have Boot or Mike here, man. That would have been right up his alley. I'll tell you that right now. I'll tell you that right now. Send him that link on Facebook. He'll love you.
Sure will. What does the fox say? What does Coach Buck say?
He'll probably coach you. He'll probably send back. I already see that.
Yeah. You're way behind. That happened 2 months ago. Damn it, I said that too.
So
baseball. We were in baseball
Yeah,
before I
so-
shoehorned in what the fox
no,
says.
that was great, Jim. So yeah, one of my brushes with greatness was Jim Leyland, who's the Detroit Tigers manager, and they're in the playoffs here right now. And I gotta if people didn't know, both of us are kind of ignorant of baseball. It is America's pastime. We use it to pass the time between football and hockey.
Okay.
Anyway, no, we use it to pass the time between football and football. So anyway,
You know what I use the time to pass between football and football? Beer.
yeah, well,
And then when football comes here, I celebrate by drinking beer. And I continue that pattern as to keep the good luck going until the end of football.
is that
And then what I do in order to mourn the loss of football is I drink beer until football comes back. Makes sense, right? I thought it did.
Yeah, well, if it works for you, it's the important part.
Was I drinking beer?
It's only stupid if it doesn't work.
Was I drinking beer? Then it works for me.
Yeah. So anyway, Cory, how much do you know about baseball playoffs?
Playoffs?
Yeah,
0.
we're in the playoffs.
I know. I know the rules of baseball. I can play not well, but I know the rules of baseball. You could pretty much just give me a position. I'll play the fucking
most
game.
of us do.
Yes. But as far as like how the league works and how the playoffs work and the teams I have no clue.
Well, I don't know a lot of history, but here's
Like I don't know what's National Conference and what's American Conference. Is that what it is?
they do have National League and the American.
In the American League, not conference. I'm in football leagues. Okay.
And they have the National League and the American League, and then there's divisions. Okay, I don't know what divisions are what, but they have a wild card for each league. Okay, they have a wild card game for each league. Then you go to your first division series, which this is where I get confused. The division series is a best of 5. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And the division series this year left us with what we're in now, which is
Which is?
I forgot what they call it, but this is a best of 7.
Which is?
St. Louis is playing the Dodgers, and St. Louis leads that series 3-1 out of 7 games. So if St. Louis wins one more game, they win, and they're in the World Series.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And on the other side, in the American League, Boston is leading Detroit 2-1. Okay, and these are best of 7. But this is,
okay, it's a best of 7.
Yeah,
that's kind of complicated.
I know, because the first one, the division series, was best of 5. Okay, now
I know the World Series is a best of 7,
right?
But the playoffs are best of 7 games too.
Well, this.
Like, I don't get it. Like, do I have to play you for a best of 7 series and then move on to the next guy for a best of 7 series?
No, you had to play best of 5, then you moved on to the best of 7, and then you move on to the World Series. You see what I'm saying? Which I don't understand. Why are you going best of 5, best of 7, best of 7? Why not just go best of 7 all the way through?
But, like, okay, so, okay. How many teams are in the playoffs? At, like, when you start the playoffs? Like, how many slots is it possible to have?
You got
After you're done coughing, talking to the microphone. Please speak into a microphone!
You got 4 teams.
Thank you.
That play 2 wildcard games.
Okay.
Out of them, 2 games. 2 teams advance, 1 in each league. And they play a team in a best of 5. Okay? Then the winners of the best of 5 go to the series we're in now.
Okay.
And it's a best of 7. The winner of these two games
then goes on to the big show.
Right.
Which is a best of 7 series.
That's it. So
microphone. Speaking to microphone.
That's it. So I don't understand why they go from a 5-game series to a 7 to a 7. I don't understand why they don't just do a 7 across the board.
Because there's already too many games in this goddamn sport.
Well, yeah, I would think.
At least they cut out 2 games per matchup in the first round, right? Yeah. That's how it works, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They should cut out a couple of games.
But, I mean, they're playing 160-something games this season.
What's the postseason, though? The postseason's got to be 40 friggin' games.
No, we just went through it. It's really not. It's 2 wildcard games, then a best of 5 series, then
which is 10 games. Well, could be up to 10 games.
And then there's a best of 7 series,
which could be up to 14. So that's 24, 26, series. 27. So by the time you're up, which could be up to another 7 games.
28 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's almost 30 games. What did I just say?
And they played 160 during the season. You'd think we'd have it narrowed down to
30 games.
How about the top 2 in each league at that point plays the World Series?
Do you know who's in the playoffs?
Yeah, actually.
Could you enlighten our fans and myself as to who's in the playoffs?
I don't remember who was in the wild card games, but yes,
I can look that up for you, sir.
St. Louis is playing the LA Dodgers. St. Louis leads 3-1 in that series right now. So one more game, they take that series. And that would put them in the World Series.
Okay, and that's the National League, right?
Right.
Make sure you're talking to your microphone while you read.
Right. And then the American League, Boston's at Detroit, and they're leading that series 2-1 right now. And
okay.
I guess, there's been the pitcher duel going on over there in Boston and Detroit, and from what I'm hearing, it's been some pretty. Well, it depends who you want to argue with. Some pretty great baseball, but some people saying it's a little boring because they're low-scoring games. But it's baseball. How high a score do you want?
Okay, now I'm starting to get it because this is hard for me to follow. I'm starting to get it.
I know, because they don't draw it out like in brackets.
Like in a bracket or in a flow chart or something.
I know, and I'm trying to explain it to you because I
need a visual aid, man.
I know, and I had to read it in like paragraph form because it's not drawn out in brackets.
Yeah, okay, I get it. So, outside of the wild card games is what you're stuck on, which is, by the way, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
Right, which
was National League wild card spot.
Which neither one are still in it.
Pittsburgh advances.
Yeah, but they did advance, but then they lost the best of 5 series.
I'm trying to get it together in my head here.
Okay.
And then the American League had had Tampa Bay Rays and Cleveland Indians,
which both of them teams have now
lost. Usually the wild card usually does not make it to the game.
Yeah.
In most sports.
So,
and then on the National League, you have 2 different sets of series going on simultaneously.
Right.
You have 4 teams playing 2 series
of 5
simultaneously of a best of 5 each.
Right. Right. And 2 going on in the National, 2 going on in the American.
Okay. So that's 10. That's just that series is a possible another 20 games.
A possible 20 games.
And then the winners of those move on to another set of series similar to that, but they're not running 2 at the same time. They're only running 1 of 2 teams, and then the big game. Okay, I get it now. I got it. I understand now.
But it doesn't make
holy shit!
Does it make any sense?
I don't know why you would do it like this, but now that I can read it now. It's
like they started building this monster and no one knew when to stop.
How many games can we shove in here? Why do these people have to play so many games?
Well, think about it. You've got a possible 20 games through the first series, right? And then you've got a possible 14 in the next series, and a possible 7 in the next. So that's 21. That's 41 games in the playoffs, not counting the 2 wildcard games. That's 43 games.
4, 3, 5, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40, 41, 42, 43. 43
games in the playoffs if every game was played.
I see. I nailed it. I said, how many are there? 40? You're like, no way. Fuck yeah, 40 games.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Out of their minds, dude.
And they play 160 regular season games. I say cut your season in half and go from there.
And I'd probably be more interested and make this playoff more concise.
Yeah.
Because at least, even NHL hockey, I get more interested during the playoffs.
If you're having your wrap up,
basketball, I get more interested during the playoffs.
If you cut your season if you cut your season to fucking 90 games.
If you cut a third of the season off.
Cut it to 90 games, and your playoffs are ending, your World Series is ending the week before football season starts, I'm in.
Yeah, I might. Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm in.
I might be more in. Again,
I'll be torn because I'll be trying to watch golf and you, but I'm in.
Golf's much slower. You can kind of.
Yeah.
I hate watching golf on television.
Oh, I love it.
There's nothing more that I love than playing golf. Love playing golf.
I love both.
I cannot stand watching it on television.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Some of the shots you see on TV, you're never going to come close to.
Oh, never, ever. That's one of the reasons I don't like watching. Because that's a sport I play in my own time. I don't want to watch the professionals.
Yeah, well.
Like, if I actually played football after work or something, I don't want to watch the NFL. See what they do. Makes me feel bad about myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, why? You don't want to see yourself do it wrong.
Exactly. I had a possibility of getting somebody I know a job over where I was working, and I was like, no. Yeah, because he's got more experience than I do. I just happen to know him. You fucking make me look bad.
Yeah,
Screw that.
That's not really hard to do.
I
took the door. Sorry.
You're a jerk.
Yeah, you got over it.
So it's not even nice.
That was my first delve into playoff baseball. So I learned how their playoff system works, and
Well, I think now I have too. Thank you for educating me here, there, Coach Buck. That was your original purpose on the show, was to teach me the things that I did not know.
Yeah, I didn't know either. So here we go. We're at the beginning of a great adventure.
Do you know what I feel about that?
Cat goes meow, bird goes tweet, and mouse goes squeak. Cow goes moo, frog goes croak, and the elephant goes toot. Duck quack,
What's the guy?
and fish go blub, and the seal goes ow, ow, ow. But there's one sound that no one knows. What does the fox say? Ding, 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 ding,
You should see Cory doing the robot. Actually, it wasn't the robot, but I don't know what else to call it because it was like a broken robot. It was
What's
stuck.
a robot?
He was like,
I know what a robot is. What the hell's a
it was
robot?
like he kept touching a hot stove over and over again. It was really weird.
Ding 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 ding.
Oh, that was funny. That was funny. All right, so you're going to pay attention to the rest of this baseball deal now, right?
I've been paying attention. I've been trying to learn.
No, I mean now that you know
How the playoffs work a little bit, I will try to pay more close
teams
attention.
in the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so out of the 4 teams, the two leagues, who do you like?
Are you kidding me? I don't know. I don't know anything about any of them.
Well, look, St. Louis,
Buffalo doesn't have a fucking
LA,
baseball team.
St. Louis.
Who is the closest city with a baseball
St.
team?
Louis,
That's not
LA,
Toronto.
Boston, or Detroit. Them are the 4 teams.
I'm gonna have to go.
4 teams, pick one.
Why Detroit?
They're in it. Detroit Tigers.
Yeah.
I'm saying out of the 4
Oh,
teams.
out of the teams, I don't know.
Out of the 4 teams in the
Which one's closest to Rochester?
probably Boston.
Well, that's where we're going. Celtics. Go Celtics.
I don't think they're called the Celtics. It's basketball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's the Boston.
It's the Red Wings.
Sox.
It's Red Sox.
Yes. And they're playing Detroit. And I'm gonna jump base and I'm gonna head over to LA and try to see what I can find out with what's happening
Dodgers,
over there this
right?
week.
Dodgers, right?
Yeah, they were playing real good ball before this series, I guess, but now they're behind 3-1. They could be losing it all tonight.
But then it'll take 4 hours
Actually,
to find out.
the game should be over.
Well, I don't have time to do real time.
No, I'm
research.
just saying, by the time we do this podcast.
Oh, by the time we do this podcast, the game will probably definitely be over.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So we'll just see how we'll follow this out and see who gets to the series, and we'll have to watch a couple of series games and see what happens here.
Yeah, because that was part of the issue that I was having following you, is that I guess I didn't even realize that we were so far into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That they already played 28 of the games.
A possible 28 games. Yeah. It's really kind of scary.
Holy hell.
So I'm sitting there the other day, and I love ESPN.com. It's pretty much the only website I visit on my phone. And I've come across a couple of interesting things. First was a stat that stuck in my mind. In the Super Bowl era, there have been 53 teams to start the season 0-6, like our friends the Giants, and make the playoffs.
How many?
Or I'm sorry, 53 teams have started the season 0-6. Okay, and made
the
playoffs.
But isn't the statistical odds of starting 0-3 and making the playoffs 12%?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
And then if you lose more, your odds start going back up. What the hell's that?
Well, maybe it's the math they use to move the Cowboys in the power rankings.
Oh, okay.
So,
what did Al Gore say about fuzzy math? It was fuzzy math.
Poor Al. I wonder if he ever got his copyright on the internet. Yeah.
Oh my God! I mean, that is a joke. But in all honesty, in fairness to Al Gore, he did not invent the internet. However, he was an instrumental part in making the internet a public domain technology. That part is true.
Credit where credit is deserved.
All right.
Got it. So anyway, as I said, 53 teams since the Super Bowl era began. They started the season 0-6 and made the playoffs, which is, to me, I was shocked. I was like, man, that seems high.
Yeah, that seems incredibly high.
Wait, it gets better. Here's the second part of that stat. Out of the 53, 24 have made the Super Bowl.
Wait a minute.
24 have made the Super Bowl, starting the season 0-6. 53 made the playoffs. 24 made the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl came into existence in 1967.
Right.
Was the very first Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. So in 46 years, 53 teams started 0-6 and made the playoffs. 24 of them made the Super Bowl.
I don't even get it.
It's better than once every other year.
I don't get it.
Want to know the icing on the cake?
I don't get it. I don't get how that's possible.
You know what the icing on the cake is? Third part of this stat. Out of them 53 teams that originally made the playoffs, 24 of them went on to the Super Bowl. Guess how many won the Super Bowl?
How many?
Take a wild guess.
12.
13.
Damn, I'm good.
Yeah, but if I
just cut it in half.
But if I hadn't fed you the stat like I did,
yeah, I would have had no idea. It went half.
If I had said to you, how many teams starting 0-6 have won the Super Bowl?
I'd have said 2.
You would have said 2.
I'd have said 2.
I would have said fucking 0.
I'd have said 2. Well, I would have figured since the question was posed, I would figure that there was a positive answer. So I would have assumed that there was at least a 1, but you don't want to go.
So it wasn't
1,
based
so
on any actual knowledge.
No, I totally broke down the situation and took my guest off of best contextual evidence that I had.
Nice.
Way off.
Wild stat. I want to look up and see who them 13 teams were.
We will comb through the numbers and we will figure it out for you next week.
We may have to research that one. I don't think that's going to be a Google question.
Spin your ass around and write it on the big board.
Oh, man, now I got to take the headphones off.
No, you don't. They're 10-foot cords. Oh. I bought 10-foot cords for everything I own. You know why I buy 10-foot cords for everything I get? Because the price per foot on cording drops drastically. The more you buy. 3-foot cords and 10-foot cords cost the same amount of money. Yeah, I'll take the 3-foot cord. I hope I can even read that. What 13 teams started 0-6 and won Super Bowl? I hope I can read that tomorrow.
Well,
I'm talking to the microphone because nobody can hear what you're saying right now. Thank you.
If you can't read it tomorrow, call me and I'll tell you what it said.
What the hell does this note say?
That blew my mind. I'm sorry.
I will probably just remember it contextually. I'll be like, what the fuck does that say? Oh, yeah, we were talking about Super Bowls.
Yeah, so the next thing I see on ESPN.com is Vikings starting Josh Freeman versus the Giants this week. Big surprise there, considering they just handed him, $2-3 million for the season? Something like that. What about Christian Ponder and Matt Castle? What about him?
What?
What about him?
About what? Who? Ponder and who?
They're going down to visit Matt Schaub and get a Schaub burger.
In the never was category. I mean, 15 years from now, you know who's going to remember their names in the NFL history books?
Christian Ponder and Matt Castle.
Exactly, and historians that are like...
Actually, we'll be listening to one or the other on ESPN, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. That's where they'll be. On ESPN Radio. Not even TV, because they get the stars to work television. ESPN Radio is where the washed-ups, and it never was.
You know how we've, kind of visited a couple times on this show about the power rankings?
Your penises? Yes.
Yeah, is your penis bigger than mine? That kind of crap.
Yeah.
Well,
clearly.
I'm in ESPN.com, so I go to the power rankings. Check out the power rankings this week. I want to know what the Jets,
I'm telling you, the Fox is at the top of the power rankings.
What did the Fox say?
Ding, 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 ding.
So I want to see where the Jets stood after their loss Monday night, And lo and behold, or Sunday afternoon, and lo and behold, the Jets fell 2 spots. They're down to 20. 20. You want to know where your Bills are?
No.
They fell 2 spots, too. They're down to 25.
Oh, we're not at 32?
No.
Are you sure we're not at 34?
That would be Jacksonville.
Sure we're not at 34?
There isn't 34.
That's my point.
Okay.
Thank you for picking
The Giants are at 31.
Subtlety.
The Bucks are at 30. And the Vikings...
What did you do? You're at 30? You wish you were 30.
No, the Bucks are at 30.
Yeah, Bucks.
Yeah.
Get it? What's that?
I got it.
You got it now?
I got it. Who's number one?
Thick.
Who's number one?
Oh, it's got to be Denver or New England.
It's Denver.
It had to be one of the two. I'm assuming Denver probably got better passing yardage.
Denver, Chiefs, Saints, Seahawks, Pats, Indy.
A Pats must have shit field numbers.
The Pats went up 1.
They must have shit field numbers, but they win, so they'll just keep walking up.
So you know how
they're undefeated. They're 4th.
Well, you know how the beginning of the season were like, how the fuck does this work? Can the Jets defense be fucking 32 in the beginning of the season? You remember we asked that question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's why. Because I did a little digging into the power rankings that we're always looking at here on ESPN. You know how the power rankings are decided?
Here on ESPN, are you fantasizing?
No.
Literally, but I know, but it was a matter of punctuation.
That's where we get the power rankings.
But the way you said it is something we're always looking at here at ESPN.
Well, you never know.
Good for you. It's practice, baby. It's practice.
It could happen. I'm telling you right now, Trey Wingo doesn't know half as much as we think he knows.
Exactly. Huh? Sure. What? Right. I don't know.
Anyway. Where was I? You just derailed me.
I don't know, something about a fox.
Oh, the fox. What does the fox say?
Hooka chick.
So, anyway, the power rankings. Here's the deal. Guess who comes up with these power rankings?
Because I don't get it. All right, New England's undefeated. How are they 4th? I don't...
4th?
5th?
Yeah.
They're undefeated.
They're not undefeated. They lost.
No, they're 6-0, aren't they?
Where are you? Let's see.
I was sleeping that week. I don't remember that.
It's because that was the same week that Denver beat the shit out of Dallas. Yep.
Yeah, sure was. So they're 5-1, whatever.
Yeah, but anyway, you're derailing me again here. Oh, the power rankings. So guess how these power rankings that everyone talks about come around?
How do these power rankings come around?
They're decided by 6 people. 6 people's opinions.
Oh, not opinions.
Yes.
There's a mathematical formula.
No, I did the digging today.
There's numbers.
No.
But there's numbers.
Oh, yeah, they look at stats and numbers. And
there's lots and lots of numbers. That's what sports is all about. It's all about numbers.
But the power rankings are these 6 people's opinions of the numbers.
Well, I think Peyton Manning is fucking dreamy. So he already won.
There you go. Now
it's a wrap, Jack.
Do you get my point? Do you see my point here? These power rankings mean nothing.
Like I said, okay, I was wrong about it.
3 of the people are bloggers on ESPN. 3 of the other 3 are analysts from ESPN.
Oh, so that's okay. So
None of them.
Really, this isn't okay.
None of them.
So it's not really it's a ESPN bullshit. It's not like official NFL numbers. It's ESPN bullshit.
Numbers, it's just their.
I'm sorry, as far as the power rankings
right?
go.
But it's just their opinions.
No, okay. So now I know how they come up with them.
So now I have no
out of their assholes.
Right. So now I have no respect for power rankings.
I didn't know after I had power.
I believe.
We should do our own power rankings.
Yes.
Man, do I need more work? That's what I need is more shit
on
to
your
do.
Face right
Fucking, it's a good idea though. You're an
We're
asshole.
gonna have to hire a producer.
We're not doing that. Good
we
idea.
Can pay him
we
in
might
kibble.
do that. Yeah. Pay him kibble.
Dog.
Feed my dogs kibble. Kibbles and bits. Kibbles and bits.
But yeah, I mean, I'm serious, dude. We can look at the stats and come up with our own power rankings just as well as these guys.
Okay, I think Peyton Manning is dreamy. So he's number one.
There you go.
There you go. Who's under him? What's number two?
Oh, they have the Chiefs.
The Chiefs. Okay, well that's not a bad choice.
No, considering they're one of the two undefeated teams.
Yeah. And they've got a hell of a defense this year.
Yeah, you know, which brings me back to this Peyton Manning thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you heard the controversy with Jim Irsay this week, right?
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately, you know, quotes are misconstrued and everyone puts their own spin on it. But basically,
Quotes are pointless.
people were saying that what Irsay said back in April about Peyton leaving and, you know, the drafting of Andrew Luck and everything. People were trying to say that if you read between the lines, that Irsay was kind of, you know, slighting Peyton for the fact that in 9 years they had 11 playoff appearances, 7 of them were one and done, and they only had one Super Bowl to show for 9 years of Peyton on the team, which, you know, isn't fair to say it's Peyton's fault or not. But, I mean, he said they had good teams, and, you know, he was kind of disappointed that they had only one ring. So this is the media driving this up all week because they got to have something to talk about this week. And this is the big game, Peyton going back to Indy. Obviously, we all know Peyton handled the whole thing with class and pretty much no comments, whatever, you know.
Because Peyton, he's a classy fucking guy.
Yes. But I got to say, as GM, I would be disappointed too.
Okay. And me and you had this passionate debate that the radio listeners are going to miss out on. But I get your point that you're disappointed. You had what might be the world's greatest quarterback for 9 years.
Right. And I only got one ring to show
And I got one ring to show for it. But there are a lot of teams in the NFL, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know there's at least a handful of teams in the NFL that have no fucking rings. 0. And a perfect example of that is Dan Marino and his 10 years of excellent quarterbacking for the Miami Dolphins and never had a ring. Do the Dolphins even have a franchise ring? I don't even think so. Do they? Do you know? I don't know.
What do you mean?
It's a franchise. Did the Dolphins ever won a Super Bowl? I don't think so. No. Period. And they had one of the world's best quarterbacks. Elite, top-of-the-line quarterback, Dan Marino. Never won a ring. Is it douchebag?
100% true. I'm not saying Peyton's a douchebag.
I'm saying
I'm saying the disappointment is justified.
But I don't give a fuck about your disappointment. Fuck off,
you. Justified.
I'm not saying it's not justified. I understand his point of view, but I'm saying it's unimportant. Fuck off. Take a walk.
Of course,
with your
it's
opinion.
Unimportant. I said that before we even started talking about it. This is what the media is trying to talk about this week because they got nothing else. That's what I was trying to say. Anyway, so we've decided power rankings mean shit. Correct?
Yeah, power rankings are shit, and we're gonna make up our own.
There we go. And other than that, I heard you had nice seats for the game last week, the Buffalo game.
The seats that we sat in accidentally were better than the ones that were actually our seats.
Wait a minute. the accidental seats were better.
But better. They were down about another 10 yards. Section over.
You were bummed when you got kicked out, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. We were right. I mean, we were right down there. We were 100. We're in the 100s sections, row 35. I mean, we were right down there. Yeah. But like right at a good angle too. But we were right on the corner of the end zone.
Yeah, I know exactly.
So it wasn't a good perspective there. When we were 10 yards over, it was a little bit better.
Yeah. I was in 114 last time, which is across the way on the 20-yard line. I was row 27. That was perfect seats at that stadium. So you had a good game.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry you had to take that L home though.
I know it sucked, but I wasn't expecting a win.
Yeah, but I mean,
great game though, right up to the very end.
I gotta ask, there's a lot. What the heck's going on over there all of a sudden?
We had a practice string quarterback. I mean, I thought he did rather well.
You thought he did rather well. I was like, oh my god, who is this guy?
I almost would have liked to watch it from television.
For a touchdown. He had the energy. He was playing well.
I almost would have liked to watch it on television, just to have a better view of the game.
Yeah, well, it was great until about the end of the third quarter.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, then I fell asleep. Sorry.
Halfway through the fourth quarter, I don't know, I think like 7 minutes left. It came down to 3rd and 3 or whatever, 3rd and 4. And I was like, if they convert this, I'm going back to the truck to get drunk. It's a wrap.
But,
and I looked at my buddy and he agreed. As soon as I said it, the Bills shut him down. They had to kick away. Just gave the Bills a drive to score to tie the game.
Right.
And then they just kept me there, throw to throw, throughout all of overtime until the shitty loss by 3.
Yeah, well, I got to say, first of all,
every game within 7. Every game within 7.
At one point, you guys were behind, what, 10
points.
10 points. And I was like, oh, man, they're going to let this slip away. And then when I woke up from my impromptu nap, and it was the end of the fourth quarter, and they were going into overtime, I was like, wow. But now they're talking, this week I hear the pundits and the talking heads saying that maybe EJ isn't your guy. Maybe.
Whoa!
I'm hearing that he's got some. Other than the injury, I'm hearing he's got some. I don't want to say it this way, but
I haven't heard anything about it. So you got to say something.
Yeah, they're trying to pull some negatives. I think they're just
because we had a shitty season. Well, no shit.
Well, no, they're saying that this Thad Lewis may be the better quarterback.
Oh my God, they're trying to start a quarterback controversy.
Absolutely,
because it's good for ticket sales.
Absolutely. And what's your take?
Fuck Chad Lewis. Not fuck Chad Lewis. I'm Thad Lewis. Not fuck Thad Lewis. He did a very good job. And I mean, he looks like he's a talented kid, but he's not a starting NFL friggin' Super Bowl winning quarterback.
That's what they thought about Russell Wilson too.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Well,
Russell Wilson wasn't a undrafted, unsigned practice squad quarterback.
Yeah, granted. But I don't know. They're kind of trashing your man EJ. Is he going to be accident prone? Can he do this now? And I know what you're saying with the quarterback controversy.
See first.
But
that's exactly what they're doing. They fucking do it all the time in the stupid city to sell tickets.
The thing is, in the NFL nowadays, you can lose your job to injury.
Oh yeah. There's no question. He's our first round draft pick. Kid quarterback.
Doesn't matter.
Give him a shot.
The deal. When's he due back?
6 weeks, I think.
6 weeks.
Not even.
You think if Thad Lewis wins 5 of the next 6 games?
It won't happen.
If he does, do you think they're putting in EJ Manuel?
No, they'll fall right back into the Flutie Johnson. He'll start one day, and then he'll start, then we'll play him on the next play, then we'll play him on this play.
Won't happen.
It'll be the Sanchez Tebow.
Won't happen.
Bullshit, it won't.
6 weeks, we're going to be past the midway point of the season, and they're going to stay with the hot hand.
If
they win 5 of the next 6 games.
Until he goes cold, and then it'll be right back to EJ. He loses one game, scuffs his elbow. After EJ's healthy, it'll be right back to EJ.
I'm sure they would, but I'm telling you now. He wins 4 of the next 6. He wins 4 of the next 6. EJ's not coming back.
You're dreaming. It will not happen.
You're dreaming. You're so stodgy in your NFL thinking nowadays, man. Everybody's expendable. Everybody.
But you're dreaming in the Thad Lewis is going to win 4 out of 6 games. This isn't even a conversation.
Oh my God! This is from a guy who didn't even know who he was.
Thad Lewis?
Yeah.
Nobody knew he was till we signed him.
Yeah, he played from Cleveland. Remember?
Oh yeah, but until they cut him.
Yeah.
Psh, big deal. Nobody knew who the fuck he was.
You know what they're saying about Thad Lewis?
What?
He's smarter than EJ Manuel.
That's possible too, but we've had lots of smart quarterbacks and they never win anything.
You've had a couple that won.
Name one smart quarterback that won that we had.
Flutie.
He couldn't win either.
He put up a couple winning seasons for you guys.
Winning seasons. It's not the fuck we're talking about, Buck, and you know.
Well, that's the only thing you guys got to talk about.
Well, that's not what we're looking for.
Well, it's not what any of us are looking for, but, you know.
All right, you got anything else? We got to wrap this cake hole up.
Wrap. Go ahead, wrap.
Are you sure you want to wrap?
Sure, wrap.
You don't have anything else?
No.
Penises, plugs?
No.
Shout-outs?
Penis to yourself.
Huh?
Keep your penis to yourself.
Okay.
And hopefully my friend Dr. Courtney is having fun watching Miami play the Bills this week.
In Miami.
Dr. Courtney.
I need to check on it.
Yeah. But yeah, why? I asked her, why would you go down to Miami? She's a Miami fan. But why would you go down there to see Miami play the Bills?
See, it's the one you could see 2 Miami games a year. One in Miami and one in Buffalo. I guess we're skipping the picks for this week's episode. We ran long on time. We'll fill people in on what we picked last week, I guess. Next week.
Yeah, we got blown out of the water last week.
Both got destroyed, so it doesn't matter anyway. All right, thank you very much for joining us on SportsWreck and giving us an hour of your listening, pleasuring time. Be sure to check us out on the Facebook and give us your likes. We need your likes, and we will be willing to buy your likes with sexual favors. Yes, no, yes.
It depends. Oh, it's scary, folks. It's really scary.
Sure is.
I'm gonna need us.
Well, say goodnight to the folks there, Coach Buck.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for listening.